we are going to get started on the Sleigh Ride Shawl, and I do want to preface this tutorial by telling you that I shrunk this pattern down a ridiculous size just so I could fit it easier on my cutting table so you could see it a little bit better, and I didn't have to be zoomed all the way out in order to to fit this monster pattern. I think the pattern itself in length is 48 inches long, so this is like 20 now, so like less than half, and so I apologize. It looks kind of silly when you look at my hand size versus the pattern itself, but just ignore that because all the steps are going to be the same. For the Sleigh Ride Shawl, you really don't need very much. You just need 2 pieces for your main shawl piece. You need the main and the lining. Now, if you are doing a fabric that has like a really nice back to it, or it's thick and you don't really want to line it, you absolutely don't have to. You can just finish the edges. But this, like, I wouldn't want the back of this fabric personally to be showing, so I lined it. It's very optional. This pattern can be used with knit fabrics. You can use woven fabrics, anything that will fit across the pattern piece. So honestly, sky's the limit, and we can do it however you'd like. I'm going to show you the lined version in this tutorial. So otherwise, you know, do what you like, but this is what we're working with right now. We're going to start with our tab piece. So you just grab your tab with the right side facing up. We're going to match the 2 long edges to each other. So we're going to fold it in half and meet these 2 long edges. And then we're going to sew along all 3 of the raw edges. Now we need to turn it, so leave like 1 inch or 2 opening here so we can turn our fabric. All right, it's all sewn, and you can see we've still got this opening right here for turning. We're gonna go ahead and trim down the seam allowances just to make it a little cleaner of a turn. So you just kind of trim it out. You're gonna cut off your corners. Just make sure you don't cut through any of the stitches that you just created. And leave this seam allowance for being able to tuck it back in when we turn. Kind of trim that off, okay. And we're just going to turn it right side out. If you have a bodkin, grab it now. You're gonna push out all your corners so they're nice and pointy and sharp. All right, and give it a good press, and then we are going to close that opening. And you can do it however you want. You can do a blind hem by hand, or if you have thread that will be concealed, you can just give it a quick stitch to close it up. However you want to do it, whatever your preference is, but you're gonna close that hole. Once you've got that completed, you're going to grab your outer lining, your main fabric piece, pattern piece, and you're going to lay it out. And what I would recommend is grabbing your pattern piece, and I actually like to take it says slide placement tab. I like to cut it out of my pattern and just stick it straight onto the fabric and use that as a guide. It's just the easiest way to do it. It's pretty darn simple. And so you can just drop that tab right there. Again, my teeny tiny version. And we are going to sew the tab on just with a quick stitch across the 2 short edges. So we attach it, and it ends up being something that you can slide the other side into when you're wearing it. Once your tab is attached, you're just going to bring that main side back, or main piece back, and lay it out with the right sides up. And then find your lining piece, and with right sides together, so the right sides facing each other, we're gonna line it all against itself, or each other. And we are going to sew around the entire outside. Now, wherever you want to leave the opening, you're going to need to leave an opening, and I would recommend it on one of the bottom straight edges. Leave a couple inches open so we can turn this whole thing. But you're going to sew around the entire outer edge. Again, just leaving an opening for turning. All right, it is all sewn up. Now, I would recommend if you used anything other than a serger, if you used a straight stitch and you still have pretty decent sized seam allowance left, I would highly recommend either going through and clipping all of your curved edges especially, so when you turn it, it's a lot cleaner, or taking a pair of pinking shears and trimming down the curves that way. It just gives it a cleaner turn when you flip it around. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim all this and I'll be right back. We've got all of those seam allowances cleaned up, so we are just going to turn this puppy right side out through the opening that we left. So it really is just taking this big U and turning it. Kind of want to put this, if I had a doll, I don't have any dolls. This would be an adorable little shawl for a doll. Oh boy, okay. The scale is making me giggle more than it should. Anyway, here we go. We're gonna turn it, we're gonna push out all those corners, get them nice and clean. And then it could be your last step or however you wanna do it. We need to close up this bottom edge that we left open for the turning. So add a couple of pins or clips to that so you're guaranteed to close that nicely. So you can either hand stitch this closed and call it a day, or you can take your machine and top stitch along the entire outer edge. It kind of depends on your mood and what you want done, but I like a good top stitch on things. But again, you can just close it up and call it a day. I'm gonna go ahead and top stitch. Once you've got it all stitched out, you just slide the one side through the tab and you are ready to wear it. It's super cute. Actually, I did not know I needed a shawl so badly until I put one on and I said, oh Lord, I feel so cute. So don't be surprised if you see me for my Christmas card pictures wearing one of these in it, because I love it. I hope you do too. I think these would be really great gifts. I also think these would sell amazingly well at craft shows. I know that everyone's really into the infinity scarves, but this is actually just as cute, and I think actually a little cuter, if I may say. On behalf of everyone from the Patterns for Pirates team, we want to wish you a happy holidays, and we hope that you've been enjoying our freebie season so far.